her beautiful, beautiful chicaner. And what is his name, Laureen? Monty.
Montanya von der Heidi.
Yes. Monty. And Laureen, by the way, is a judge, a state judge. If you need any tickets fixed, here.
I know people you can call.
And would you please tell everybody a little bit about your work stage, how long you've had him, what you've done with him?
He just turned 11. I've had him 4 years, it'll be this summer. He had a couple of years of medical leave, so last summer was the first year that we showed. We showed first level, and got together just after slash final, and ended up 6th in the country at first level. And hope to do qualified for second.
Absolutely. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yes, they did a beautiful job. They were at Rolex. I've seen Laureen with him in Florida, and they're a beautiful pair. What do you feel your strengths are, and what do you feel you'd like some help with during our clinic?
Maybe other older riders' experiences, but I feel like it's hard for me to get all of my body parts working independently. I think I live dyslexic sometimes. So, for instance, if I go to ask for a change, I have to think about which lead I'm in right now, so I know which lead to go for the other lead. And I have some trouble with coordinating my aids for the lateral work. Any deficits in our partnership are mine. He's got gorgeous aids, a wonderful mind, perfect confirmation.
Yeah.
I like him.
He's a poster horse, for sure, and they've been very successful together. She's very modest, so she won't tell you that. Also, when you get this sound system, if you do, if you wear it like Laureen does when she rides by, which is a black ride, because of where she keeps, how high she keeps it, but you can also have it lowered. You want it lower? Is it your weight is deep? That's why I did it. That's awesome. All right, good. And then what are your his particular strengths? Let's let him walk through this moment. What are his particular strengths?
I think he's got fabulous gait. I mean, he's just got good impulsion, very relaxed and smooth gaits in all 3 gaits. So those are, and he's also he's very much a pleaser, which can also make him anxious occasionally. He wants to do what I'm telling, and then if I don't tell it just right because I don't a lot, he worries about it.
Okay.
So it's keeping calm and keeping him calm sometimes,
Okay, great. Now what we're going to start with, because he has such a lovely walk, I'd like to talk about his walk, and I would like to ask you to let him have extended walk on the circle, and let his legs come out in front, and we want to see the extended walk or free walk to the horse. They're different. Extended walk comes from collective walk, free walk comes from medium walk. But if you notice, what you want to see is what he does, which is a clear V. The inside hind to the inside fore. And I'm going to ask you on that length of rein, still keeping the contact, to halt it with him still stretching down and forward. Just open your reins a little bit. Open your reins and massage downward. That's correct, like that. And then use your right leg to bring his left hind up. That's it. And halt again. Halt again. Use your that's it. Just feel in your lower back. Now, the most clear steps any horse will have is when they first walk up. Just let him walk forward. Use your inside leg. You'll see a clear V right there. Inside hind, inside fore, inside hind, inside fore. See that? That's the kind of this horse can get between an 8 and a 10 in his walk, because he has that clear walk. You know when you go to find a horse that you want to find one that has a clear walk, because if they have a tendency for lateral, that's a problem. If they have a tendency for lateral, he does not. And if we have any later, then I'll show you what you can do, but it's important then that you ride a little short fore. And notice that he's over his back. The stretch is very good. And I'm going to show a couple of things with Laureen might take a little of our end time for question and answer in this training session, because I want to explain the system that I have for this training. You know the training scale, the 6 parts of the training scale, and they are what? Rhythm,
Regularity.
relaxation, and sometimes supplement, second contact is third. Schwung is fourth, which is elasticity with impulsion. Fifth is straightness, sixth is collection. Now, you get a confluence of those as you go along. It doesn't mean it's always linear. You may have a very supple horse, and that is probably the most important part of the training scale is suppleness. Now, most people are not thinking of those 6 things all at one time, and I have a little system that I developed that I like my riders to think about, and I also think about when I'm riding, and that is to follow these 3 things, okay? Questions to ask yourself. Is your horse forward, light to the leg, is a state of mind? Okay, is he forward, light to the leg, is a state of mind? Second, is he straight? And third, is he listening to the half pulse? Because any problem you have is going to be in one of those 3 categories. So I'm going to ask Laureen to use a little quick inside leg and walk him out a little bit more. You always want the walk to look like it's the horse's idea. So let your seat move a little bit more and have a little bit more energy. The words you want to think of in walk are energy and shoulder freedom. When you look at the judges' directives in the test, this is a better walk now with more energy. That's it. And let it stretch it a little bit more. And you still see the clear V. You look at the inside height, inside core. And that's what the judges are looking at when they judge the horse. Okay? How clear V is that way. So rise to me, please, and face me this way. Rise and face me this way. So when you're riding, if your horse doesn't feel in front of the leg, doesn't feel for light to the leg is a state of mind. That's one of the things you have to fix, or you're not going to be able to have impulsion. You're not going to be able to have engagement. The second is straightness. And straightness is simple to describe, as most things it's not easy to do. Straightness is essentially shoulder forward, and trying school they call it first position, but it's shoulder forward, where the horse, you know the horse is broader behind than he is in front. You want the inside hind leg to step on the track between the 2 front legs. The horse in front moves this way, and behind he moves to the center of his body. So the straightness is very important. You can start straightness at any age. It is much easier after the horse is 3 years old to be doing it at the beginning. They're a little bit gangly. The third is half halt. And is the horse listening to half halt? And the half halt, I describe in a 4-step process. Step 1 and step 4 are the same. It's a combination use of your lower back, seat, and leg to bring the horse forward to the bit straight in the reins. Step 2 is you close in both hands, and I'll show you that in a moment. Step 3, you soften, and step 4, you ride step 1 again. Combination use of your lower back, seat, and leg to bring the horse forward to the bit straight in the reins. Now, the horse by nature is designed for his pole. He's designed by nature to come rounder, okay? And you can see that. This horse has very good combination. He's got a long pole, and what that means is that you can see the length from here to here. A lot of horses with short poles are harder to get in the bit. He also has a deep mouth, which is great for fitting bits. I can fit my fist in here, which shows his neck is set up so that he can come around easily. The top of his neck and the bottom of his neck are set on beautifully. And later on, I'm going to do some small steps to him, and I'll explain the higher end conformation of the piaffe. So, in asking him to come around, the correlation you have, if you just try this with your hands, okay, that you want to keep your hand in such a position as this because your hands are pliable. You can squeeze downward in your fingers like this. I don't need a big movement, but when you do that, the bit works in the tongue on the lips, corners, and bars. When you do this instead of this is a backward movement, which is going to get a horizontal resistance, okay? You are vertical, they are horizontal. I said earlier, this is the balance box. So when you ride forward and close your hand, you squeeze like so, or you can do inward on one, downward on the other. But you don't want to have a flat hand because you can't then have flexibility in the fingers, and they'll be more tending to pull back. Bessie described the position and the use of how it works with the contact and the hands in contact. So, the 4 questions people ask about half pulse are, how long should it be? How strong should it be? How often should I do it, and when? The answers are, I discussed half pulse in sizes 1 to 10. 1 being the firmest, 10 being the firmest, 1 being the lightest. And you should be as long and strong as you need to make a difference. Basically, some horses you could ride this size 2 for 2 years and not get much result, but if you use the size 5 a few times along with your back and seat, because 3/4 of the half pulse is your seat and only 1/4 of the hand, okay? And then, how long, how strong, how often, again, that depends on what it is you're experiencing, but often has to do with rhythm. And then when is what the rhythm is. And I recommend that people use the rein part of the half pulse into the inside hind leg in the walk and trot, and to the outside hind leg in the canter, because the outside hind is the first beat of the canter. And I'll describe all this as we're going, so it doesn't sound too technical, okay? Now, what it should feel like, would you lengthen the reins, please? It's really long reins. And now you're the mouth, because you're going to close together and stay there. So, your reins the mouth, so I'm going to squeeze, soften, and that's what feels. Squeeze, soften. You don't really see much happening, but as she uses her lower back, her glutes, and her upper leg, and she presses her hips forward to the bit, and she squeezes this way, then it is directing and his forward movement to the bit, which we talked about earlier. If you have a horse that's a little bit difficult to get around, Laureen's going to stay there, she's the mouth. You can open, you stay there. Okay? I'm going to open the reins like so, and I bring my hand back just an inch to deep, not forward like this. I open like so to bring my hand back an inch. You just squeeze like this. Okay? And what that does to the snaffle is it opens the snaffle a little bit. So you get a different place that it works in the mouth, and that can help very much to bring the horse around the tooth. I'm going to show you how that feels. You've done this with me before. Now, you do it at the same time. You don't do one and then the other. That's a little strong. What size would you say that is?
That would be a really, like an 8.
Okay, probably like a 7. Yeah. Now, do it again. Now, this one you're doing stronger than this one. This is an interesting exercise to do. Okay? Now, stay there. You're doing great. Yeah, and then when you do it, let me show you something. Okay, lengthen the reins again. Stay there. When you do this, you squeeze like this, and those kind of soften. Stay there. You're the horse just did. I don't do that. I don't soften. So what I do is I do this, and then I soften. I do this, and then I soften. Feel that? Let's see what that feels like. Now I feel pretty strong constantly.
Still?
Yeah, so. And then do it this often. Okay? We're going to do it to the inside hind leg. Just wait. That's correct. Okay? Now, track, please, to the left in the walk. And we want to make sure that we do it in the rhythm of the stride. So you won't really see her doing it. Stay in the circle here, 20 meters. Keep it forward. Tapping with the whip one, just that's it. Just lightly like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze that way every third time it's the inside hump. Okay? So it would be now, soften, soften, now, soften, soften, now. Okay? And you don't really see what her hands are doing, but the horse feels it in the way that the confirmation enables him to come through and around. And you can do every four times, you can do it whatever you need, but you want to have rhythm. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do random, but you're riding the rhythm of the stride. So what we're going to do now is we're going to begin. She's already warmed up some, so we're going to go ahead and trot him. I just want you to think you already know about this because you've worked with me before, but just think about that and don't do more than you need. The hands are basically very quiet, but remember that you are riding the horse to the bit. And you want to make the bit a nice place to be. That's it, because then you're going to get the response that you want. If you make the bit a nice place to be, they want to go there. Laureen, I'm going to turn yours off because of the background noise, okay? So if you speak, you'll just have to speak louder. That's it. So then, in the trot, and keep your thumbs up and pinky in so you don't have a flat hand. So you could squeeze now, and now, and now. Yes, like that. And now is when your seat's down in the saddle. That's when you have the greatest impact with your seat. And then go large down the long side. Does he feel forward light to the leg? Does he feel straight? Yeah. Okay, good. And these are not trick questions. I want to know what you feel. Good. Do you feel like you're even in your hands when you're doing this? Yeah. Okay. And that's the other question you want to ask yourself, because if you're right-handed, in my experience, right-handed people are stronger in the right than left-handed people are in the left. So you want to think about that. That's it. Good. And come across the diagonal. How does this rhythm feel to you?
We've lost rhythm a couple of times, but it's pretty good.
Okay, yeah, it is generally, it's good. And then shoulder forward to the right. And when judges are judging, for example, laying back, when they're judging, they look at the hind legs, because that's how they can count it. So it's very good for us also to think that way. It's not that you don't see, because if you're hard-eyed, you see the hind legs. If you're soft-eyed, you see the whole horse. We also want to be sure, what I noticed in her that I like very much, is Laureen is positioning him and bending him equally in both directions. Again, for symmetry, because you want your horse to look, you would really like the judge not to know which way your horse is more or less supple. He could be positioned 1 more inch with his shoulders to the inside of this direction. So you use your outside leg on the girth to bring his shoulders in your outside rein and don't bend more. Now he's straighter. Do you see that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now do you see it, everybody sitting? So the inside hind steps toward the center of his body. That's it. And then every time you come to a corner, finish the turn by bringing the shoulders in, like that.
Yeah.
Its straightness is not leg yield and hindquarters out, it's bringing the shoulders in. And most horses do not finish the turn. They leave the shoulders out in the track, which is what Betsy was talking about before. And now exaggerate bringing the shoulders in a little bit. Okay? And then there, right there is shoulder 4. Okay? Very good. And still we're doing the rhythm now, and that's it. Good. When we sit, and we saw this earlier with Kathy on her peppermint patty, and with the other riders, how relaxed the elbows are and they open and close. And that's what enables you to keep your hands still. If you feel like your hands aren't still, just lower your shoulders and lower your elbows. And when you post, open and close the elbows. Very good. Very good. How does he feel to you there, Lynn?
Good. Very good.
Is he forward like the leg?
Yep.
Is he straight?
Yep.
Is he listening to half ball?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, next horse, please. And then go that's it, good. Excellent. Now, let's proceed shoulder forward to the left and stand in a circle up there. And I want you to half halt him a little bit rounder. She warmed up some before she came in, so half halt him a little deeper just for now. That's it, yes. And then what I want you to ride is using the same concepts we've been discussing. I want you to ride transitions within the gait. So on the open side, between the quarter lines, bring him deeper first and then ride a smaller trot. Deeper first and then a smaller trot. Notice I didn't say slower. That's it. And then go forward again using your inside leg. Yes. Good. And this magnifies the impact your half halt has. What are we trying to do? Get his whole muscle ring to work. Do it again, please. The muscle ring is getting his entire top line to work so he can come under more behind. That's it. And then go forward again using your inside leg and make a definite difference. And the better trot, it was a better trot that time after he had, it's okay, it doesn't matter. That's it. And then what I want you to do is lengthen a little bit on the open side. Lengthen a little bit on the open side. Go ahead. Show more difference. That's it. That's all right. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And this time, when you ask him, keep your legs close to the girth. Okay, keep your legs close to the girth. Don't use your spur. Let it go a little rounder. And then just use a little inside leg. Put your hands forward a little bit. Okay, don't hold them too much. That's fine. You're doing a good job. It's much better to have So that's fine, so just relax, you look great. Let your hands go forward a little bit and just lengthen them a bit. Yes, yes. That was very well done. And then the next time, please, on the open side, rise. Bring them a little deeper first, and then rise some smaller steps. So deeper now, massage around, deeper now. Correct, correct. Yes, and then go forward again. Good. Does that feel like you have more engagement?
Yes.
It looks it. Come across the diagonal. What is engagement? What does that mean? Engagement is really two things. Engagement is, and bring him a little around here, please. Engagement is first that you put more weight on the hind end, okay? And the second thing is the horse must be able to keep the weight on the hind end while he does whatever he's doing when he's engaged, circle 20 meters. If he's lengthening the trot, he should be able to keep the engagement. If he is collecting and doing piaffe, he should be able to keep the weight on the hind end and still have the animation, whether it's a more collected animation as piaffe would be, or if it's an extended trot. This is a better trot now. Now circle again, and you could have the outside of this neck a little bit longer. Give a little bit in the outside of the neck, yes. Because that position can better there. Do you feel that? We know that the primary rein for collection around us is the outside rein, even though we want to feel pretty equal in both reins. But do you feel the difference now?
Yes.
With him, and he's looser in his back and he's stepping up better in his inside hind. Nice fit. Keep your thumbs up and pinkies in. And then what I want you to do is do the same thing on this side, please. Let's take a walk. So then, try with more animation forward in the walk. This is your split. Which is right. Remember that the whip amplifies the spur refines. Okay? The horse should move to the left. We worked with this horse yesterday when we were doing the fine changes. Because 20 meters, and we took the spurs off because we didn't. Laureen's not a loser spur, but the horse knows when one is on there, and he's a little electric about fine changes, so we took them off, and she got beautiful, clean fine changes, which is something that she's been working on. Now, I would want to see more animation in this walk. What do you think of this walk?
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm
show.
hanging on the right rein.
Pardon me?
I'm hanging on the right rein for some reason.
Okay. All right, so now marching out, touching with the whip, say walk on soft once, that's it. And then, yeah, and notice that when he went more forward, she didn't pull him back. Now come across the diagonal and let your seat move more. That's a good seat. So part of having forwardness as a state of mind is you have to start with that. The horse is not going to have it if you don't have it first. So follow it with your seat and then keep your outside leg tight. Don't poke at it every stride. And walk on. Walk on, use a real quick leg on the inside. Keep your leg quiet, good post with him, go with him. If you ask for more forwardness, accept it and that's it, and then walk. Shorten your reins. That's it. And then elegantly shorten your reins, keep your contact. Look at me a second. When you shorten, don't come out here. Stay in your seat. Use your index finger and your thumb, yes, and do it this way, right in your balance box. The balance box is where your vertical axis is technically on. And a lot of people come forward out of the balance box to shorten the reins. And then they have to rebalance their horse. It's not a good thing to do, for example, if you're a piaffe or you're about to canter, because then the horse is balanced, tips forward. Stay down here, please. And then I want you at the next quarter line to ride a quarter pirouette to the left.